There will be no arrangement, and you're killing her.
Well, if there can be no arrangement, then we are at an impasse.
I'm afraid so. I can't compete with you physically, and you're no match for my brains.
You're that smart.
Let me put it this way. Have you ever heard of Plato, Aristotle, Socrates?
Yes?
Morons.
Really?
And welcome to Morons Mince Movies. I am your host, Moron, and I'm here with my fellow morons, Lester the Peñalosa II, and Arkham, he's such a poor thing, Arturo, and special guest, the one, the only, Mia Shannon Peñalosa. That's right.
Thank
Mia
you.
Shannon.
Thank you.
Hi, Mia Shannon. How's it going?
Hi. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to have you. We are going to mince today.
Yes.
The Emma Stone, Yorgos Lanthimos directed film, Poor Things. We've all seen it, and we decided that we needed to have a woman's perspective
Thank you.
for this film. So we brought over Ubla's
I'm dying of anxiety.
fair wife,
Yeah.
Mia Peñalosa, to
Yep.
join us.
And
Yes.
interestingly enough, too, today we found out that our audience happens to be 95% male and 5% female.
Yeah, so this is
So
all.
hopefully this will help.
This is all about getting a
Yeah.
demographic. Yeah. So, yes, just to start us off, we are going to be talking about Poor Things. This is directed by Yorgos Lanthimos.
Just had its wide release in theaters.
Yes, that's right. That's
Today?
right.
Yesterday.
Yeah, it was the 22nd, I believe. So he, if you don't know who Yorgos Lanthimos is, he directed The Lobster and The Favorite, also starring Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz. Did you guys ever see that movie?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Oh, also very weird movies. Very good. I highly recommend it. Also, The Killing of the Sacred Deer, that is with Will Ferrell. No, and
No.
and no, you haven't seen that one. So this is your
No,
first.
that's the one where he reads the news. And he's
Did I
an
say Will
anchorman.
Ferrell? I mean, not Will Ferrell.
You just said Will
Colin Farrell.
Ferrell.
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell. No,
Colin
no.
Farrell.
Very
not Will
different
Ferrell.
actor.
Colin Farrell. Sorry. Colin Farrell. And Ben Keoghan. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
he was
Ben-
also
yeah,
in that
Joker,
one.
yes.
Yes. I really like this director. I think he's it. So
you knew kind of like what to expect in terms of like,
he's always been kind of weird if
Yeah.
you've seen any of his previous movies. So I kind of knew it was going to be sort of weird movie. But I'm happy to know that none of you guys have seen any of his other movies. This is good.
Yeah,
I'm
same.
glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
And real quick, I wanted to jump before we start discussing the film. I really wanted to get into like if what we knew of it ahead of time as
Yeah.
a general whole. Like I personally just saw part of a trailer. It just saw that it looked quirky, looked fun.
Yeah.
Emma Stone is always awesome, and Mark Ruffalo is. I was down regardless.
And
It looked
Willem Dafoe?
it looked interesting. I didn't know Willem Dafoe was in this.
Oh, really?
At all.
Wow.
And so I just had that intrigue, and then once I saw the hot ones with Mark Ruffalo, and he talked about it, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I really want to go watch this. And that's all I knew.
Fantastic.
That is
That's
all
great.
I knew.
Dude, you knew a lot more than I did because I didn't know Mark Ruffalo was in it. I didn't know Willem Dafoe was in it. The only thing I remember from the trailer was maybe because I was watching it like glimpsing or like too quickly, I was distracted. But I remember that Emma Stone was in it, and I remember that it was like an artsy A24 film style. And then I remembered thinking, oh, Poor Things. This is a movie about someone who maybe is not of money and is now being exposed to the rich life, and all these cool quirky visuals is what she sees in her mind.
You're not
of
half
this.
wrong.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
Interestingly, yeah.
But that fucking left curve that came,
It's
that I was
fantastic.
not expecting any of that.
Mia, did you have any? Did you know anything about the movie going in?
Nope. He said early this week, I'm going to watch Poor Things. I was like, what is that? And he said you guys were going to mince it. And so then
He
like
just
2 days
decided to go
later,
for
2 days later, he was like, this movie's like really getting big. And
So you went to go see
I
it?
was intrigued.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's
All right.
interesting.
So I saw no trailer.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
saw,
nice.
I saw
Good.
no
Okay.
trailer. I think I saw the first 1 second, but I usually go into my movies not wanting to know.
Blind. I like it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the way I like
That's
it.
what I do.
Good.
Wow.
Good.
So you
good.
two were completely caught off guard.
Nice. I think I must have known the most about the movie.
Seems
I
like,
did
yeah.
see the entire trailer. I didn't know what the movie was going to be about. But yeah. Let's get into. Should we give a brief synopsis, or you just go in like start from the beginning here?
Oh well, see that was so,
Or should
even that. What I loved is the fact of how the narrative went into it, like without getting the full story until like as it developed.
Yeah.
Are
so
we doing spoilers?
So
yeah.
spoiler alert, as this is always a spoiler review.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get right into it. And when the movie starts, I just want to say right away, what did you guys think about the visuals and the style, the cinematography, the
loved
style
it.
of it?
Yeah,
yeah.
fucking 10 out of 10 on that, man. The angles, look at that, the
Yes,
love-
he's known for the fisheye, the fisheye lens. That's like
I loved the black and white man. Like
Yeah,
it
it was
reminded me
great.
of Universal.
Universal Monster. I
It
think
did.
that's what it was
And
trying to do,
yeah.
'cause it's
And
basically
it
like
is
a
an
Frankenstein
interesting,
story.
Yeah, take on that. So it was really well done, I thought. Yeah.
So, and this falls under the category of visuals, which is, I love just the universe that he's created, which is, I can't put my finger on it if it's, because there are times where she's dressed, it looks like she's out of the 80s with like a short
It's
mini
Victorian
skirt.
era for
Right,
sure.
it's Victorian era, but with like certain things, like he drives a car that has a horse head
Oh, yeah.
instead of an actual horse.
I love
Well,
that.
because he's ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. But see, like there's
well, it's
that.
it's steampunk. Ultimately.
Exactly. That, yeah. It's steampunk.
Yeah, it's not
Victorian
full, yeah.
era steampunk, and they don't really explain a lot of it. They just kind of
They just
this
do
is
it.
where it is. Yeah, take it.
It's kind of a
gonna
fantasy
like
world.
it.
I don't think it's
I'd
meant
say,
to be.
yeah.
I love it.
It's
I
meant
love
to
it.
be anything that's based in the real world.
Like the
It's sort of a
visuals when
fantasy.
they were on the boat, I was like,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, yeah.
If anyone is
Yeah.
experiencing this movie under some sort of influence,
Influence
Eric
of
will
some
be
kind.
tripping out right
Yes.
now so hard.
And if you're listening out there and you haven't seen this movie and that was something you were considering, then it may or may not enhance this particular movie film. Just throwing that out there. This moving picture.
Going back to the beginning of the movie, we start off with that one scene of like color
Yes.
scene, and we just see the back of her, and then
Oh yeah,
it just jumps straight into
starts off in
it
color.
starts off in color briefly,
Yeah.
and then we go into black and white. And for a bit, I was like, "Is this whole movie in black and white?" I'm like, "No, there must be some color in here." But I just loved that world that we were already in, and seeing it develop.
I thought they were doing like this is the ending of the movie, and now you're gonna go watch everything that led up to her jumping off the bridge. Again, I knew nothing about
What
this.
it was though.
That's actually
what
kind
it
of what I
was.
thought too. It was that
No,
wasn't
that's
it.
not
No,
what it was.
I mean,
It led to her jumping off.
But it was
second time.
But it was a
But
halfway
that
point
opening
in the
scene,
movie.
Got it.
it's
Yeah.
still Victoria who's jumping off the bridge. So we start off with that, and then
she jumps off again. I don't know what you guys are talking
No,
about. No.
That the
no,
movie,
she doesn't jump
yeah.
off again.
Yeah. No. Okay. So yes, we start off with Bella Baxter. That's the name of the character, Emma Stone's
Bella.
character, and she's playing the piano. If you guys remember, and she's just kind of like, well, whatever.
Smashing.
She's then they show
And
her.
I immediately thought, sorry to interrupt, but I was like,
Go for it.
I was like, just like the idea, like, wow, that sounds like a kid. Like, what a kid would start
Bash.
messing with them, and I'm like, oh, what's happening? And then-
yeah,
You
so
called
then-
it right away.
not necessarily called it. I just felt like there was a childlike behavior to her
Yeah.
for sure.
Which
Yeah.
is a credit to her acting. I think she did a phenomenal job. Emma
Oh,
Stone is
hell
great
yeah.
in this.
Yep.
In this.
This is one of her
And then
best
we get into the
performances.
scene where they're having dinner for the first time. It's her and her father, Godwin, who she
Godwin.
calls God.
which
yes.
is solely on purpose.
Throughout the thing.
Yes, that
Yes,
was awesome.
yes.
I like that touch.
And right from the beginning, it's kind of weird. I still don't understand what the hell he's burping out. I never understood what's going on.
You don't answer that.
But that was like
Damn
the
it.
first
Fuck
thing. What did you think was going on there, Mia?
No idea.
No
I just
idea?
said fuck them. Fuck them for putting on there and not answering it at all. Throughout the whole fucking
It
They
was
do.
established. They do.
Well, they
They
reference
do.
it.
Yeah.
No, him burping?
Yeah,
Yeah, they
he
do.
explains it to
He
the
tells
assistant
them.
guy,
To the
but
assistant.
it even goes
Max.
over
Can you
his
remind me?
head, and then that was the whole thing of like we were the audience with him. It went over
He
his head,
tells
it went
him-
over our head.
Yeah, yeah.
My dad, the scientist, was doing an experiment on me to see if we can survive without this one part. Turns out we can't. So he learned something for the sake of humanity, but now I have to wear this machine that causes this expulsion of
He
gas.
said that in
Yeah.
the movie.
And not
Yes.
in those words, but
He actually says a
There's
lot
that
of.
down.
He actually
Yeah.
says a lot of nonsensical things that
Which
are
is
meant
why
to be.
it goes, yeah.
They're meant to sound like scientific and you
Yeah.
know informative.
And that's
Yeah.
what kind of goes
Nonsense.
over his head. And I love that in that moment,
Love
we
it.
were basically the audience with him.
Yeah.
Like, and there was like this idea, like, okay, things are gonna go over our heads on purpose.
Yeah.
Let's roll with it because this is weird and fun in that aspect, you know.
Were you guys on board from the
Perfect touch.
beginning? Did you guys have any? Because when he burped that bubble out, I was
was on
like
board.
on the fence a little bit. I love the style of it, the black and white, everything so far was great. But when he burped it out, I was like, oh man, like how weird is this going to get? Is it going to get to the point where it's just like nonsense after nonsense after nonsense? And just like,
Yeah.
Thankfully, it didn't get that way.
Yeah, I went
Thankfully,
with
it
a
didn't
friend, and throughout the whole like 30 minutes, we kept looking at each other, and I was like, I'm sorry. It was me. I chose this movie.
She had no idea. She had no idea.
Oh my gosh, I was
I
like,
was gonna say your friend
what
had no
the
idea about the movie either.
Yeah.
No,
she did.
yeah, she never saw the trailer. Yeah, so we just kept
And
looking at each
I think
other.
Leo was like,
How-
Ubre's gonna watch this. Ubre's recommending this one. He thinks it's
No.
the greatest
So then-
one out
wait,
there.
wait,
and then
wait.
they go watch it.
No, but let's fast forward a little bit. You see the nip slip, and I was like, okay, I'm starting to understand.
once the boobs came out,
She was
that's
like,
when
oh,
you were
Everything
on it.
came out.
But before that,
I was gonna ask real quick, how did you guys feel about seeing the animals, the stitched up animals? Because that happened before that.
Right away, I
it
was,
was
like,
just weird.
she's his puppet. She is. Right away, I was
experimental
like, yeah, she's the
puppet.
experiment. Yeah.
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 And so that's when it clicked. Oh yeah, she jumped off in the beginning, and this is her
Yeah, so they end
after
up
the brain injury.
they end up explaining what's going on, right? So she
The explanation that we get at the time
Yeah.
which is
that it was a brain injury.
that it was a brain injury.
Yeah, that's
That's
what
what
Oh,
he
yeah,
tells.
yeah, yeah.
That's what he
exactly.
tells
Oh, but
Max
then
first.
so yeah, Max. So let's we get into
he
the assistant.
recruits. So
The assistant.
there's a scene where they're in his class. He's teaching. He's got a corpse open, and he challenges the class
By
to
the
put
way-
all the organs back into the body. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that whole setup of the organs, that reminded
Yeah.
me so much of Universal monster movies.
I think that was
Uh,
the point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. The
The
body laying
Frankenstein.
down, the
Yeah.
Frankenstein, the
It's
Wolfman
Frankenstein,
of like
yeah.
the whole like council, everything. Sorry, I just had
No,
to.
no,
It was
no. Yeah,
great.
it was
Stylistically,
absolutely
it
a
was
nod.
amazing.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely, it was a nod, and it kind of gave me that same nostalgia of like. There was once a time where like these types of lectures would go on,
Oh, yeah.
where like a doctor would be operating on someone with an audience and be like, "So what I'm doing now is I'm cutting the vesicular veins," and that shit
Why'd you
doesn't
do
Why
happen.
does it
An
have to be German?
That's what most doctors were at the time.
At the time, they were on
scientifically, historically.
As you can
Anyway, after that class is when the professor God recruits Max
Yes,
to be his assistant, and that's where we get to meet Bella.
Yeah. Well, we already met her.
Ella.
Oh, that's
Bella.
true.
Bella Baxter.
Bella is Bella. We
So,
met Victoria.
Yeah, and so
Darling.
he's observing her and everything
Yeah.
like that, and through quickly she starts to learn words. So I feel like we have to say what's going on. I mean,
this
it's a
point.
spoiler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Why?
So what's going on with Bella Baxter, right, is that her brain is that of a baby's brain.
Yeah.
So what we come to learn is that when the person that threw herself off the bridge was actually pregnant, and she dies because of the fall. But then
God
Willem
finds her.
Dafoe's character, God, finds her. And he did the only obvious thing that he thought he
Anyone
could
would
do,
Yep.
which is replace, her brain with the baby's brain.
Take the baby out.
Since the baby was alive,
Yeah.
the
Yes.
only obvious thing that he could do was replace her
He
brain
even
with
says
his.
that. Those were his
Yeah.
words in the movie. He's like, I did what anyone would do.
Anyone would do the only obvious thing that anyone would do.
Well, and even leading up to that point, before we even knew like the real answers to that, just the idea that we were now witnessing someone's development happening, because he said it to the assistant, like, oh, she has to relearn everything. So that was the only thing that they knew going forward, and even then, that still gives us this whole perspective that we're now getting of what would it be like if you all of a sudden were growing up mentally, but you were already in a grown-up's body, and what that journey looks like, and in this case, womanhood, and everything that came to do with that.
Yeah, yeah. So I think this is where we need to bring in the
There
woman's
you
perspective.
go.
I
Because I
segued.
just got triggered because
Uh-oh.
not
Sorry.
every
Oh,
woman
shit.
is a whore, right?
yeah.
Independent.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh,
So
so
this
you
journey
had
of womanhood. No, what I'm trying to say is this journey of womanhood. No, it's this story of this character. This is Bella, right? She even said it at the end. This is her story.
Yeah.
So it's not this,
It's not
idea.
symbolism for something.
I think it's actually symbolism for feminism, for women empowerment.
Yeah.
Knowing that you have the men right here at your fingertips. So yeah.
Ooh.
Well, I don't know if she knew that yet until later on at the end of the film.
She
You know what
wasn't
this
aware of it, but
reminded?
She did do it though.
You know what this reminded me of? And I don't know if you guys agree with this, but it reminded me of Barbie. Like this is like an adult
It's funny
weird
you say
version
that.
of Barbie.
It's funny you say that, Sam. I'm going to interrupt you really quick because
No, please do.
on my ride home, I told my friend that. I said, this is how I wanted Barbie to make me feel
Uh-huh.
and
Shit.
didn't. So coming out of the movie,
Interesting.
I thought I would watch Barbie and feel this like,
Like,
yeah.
women.
Well, because I think Barbie. I'll tell you this. I think Barbie goes into more than just the feminine side. It does touch upon it, but it touches other
it becomes
things.
overall humanity.
Yeah, it touches
Is
other
this-
things.
Yeah.
And this is
Mince
definitely
for Barbie?
about like
Can enough.
It's enough.
I know why can't Barbie be enough
Enough,
for
yeah.
you, Mia?
Let's go back to the movie. Poor
Yeah.
things.
No. This is what we do. We go on tangents.
Yep.
Now we're gonna talk about Barbie for about 20 minutes, and we'll come back
While
to
we're
it.
talking about Barbie,
That-
G.I. Joe,
No.
which was oftentimes connected to Barbie.
Well, speaking of G.I. Joe, there was that the ending of the new Transformers.
So let's go back to the movie and how and her. So what's going on is she's starting to feel trapped in this house, right?
Yeah.
She meets Max and you know
Max is
Max
gonna marry
takes
her.
her outside. They get on the roof and she realizes there's a whole outside world. And she tells God, her father, like, "Hey, can I want to go out? Like Bella wants to go
Yeah.
out." And she has a great British accent.
Yeah.
And
does.
so they take her out, and she kind of has like a breakdown because she just really wants to go out and see the world. And then after that is when she starts to sort of express, because she's kind of feeling down and find a way to sort of make her still feel happy, right? And that's when she discovers her sexuality.
Yes.
And it's, I think, really funny. I don't know if you guys.
The line, right?
And I will never look at apples again the same
Oh.
way.
It was a peach.
Oh, it was a peach. I
Yes.
thought it was an apple.
It was a peach.
Oh man,
Puts
I gave her
apples.
too much credit.
Apples and oranges.
But yeah, she put she takes a peach and does things
She
with it.
discovers things with it.
Yeah, and I was.
And
yeah,
she was like, I find a way to be happy by myself.
yeah, I
like,
finally
make myself happy.
Here, let me show you. And then
The
the
maid
maid
is like,
comes
"Get
in
the
and let me
fuck
show
outta
you.
here."
It's like
Yeah.
And
And
that's
then-
the first time we hear like you don't do that in polite society,
Wait,
Right.
wait,
which
wait.
was
Then
a
she
very common.
then she goes in after the peach with the cucumber. You missed that.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
That was after
I don't know how much detail we were gonna go
There's
into.
other
it.
vegetables. There were
we have
They
to go
need
into
to
full
know.
detail.
Yeah.
Full detail.
They need to
There were
know.
other vegetables in
I
play.
mean, yeah, I would think they
That was
saw
it.
this if we were already in spoiler
Yeah.
territory. But that cause the whole polite society was a recurring theme in this movie.
Yes.
and that was the
Which
first time.
was-
we
Which
heard
is
it.
was
representative
Max.
of the patriarchy.
Yep.
Yeah, and which was
Yeah.
something that Max kept working on with her. And then part of the agreement of her going out more, I think traveling this time, was that she had to marry Max. And a contract is developed. Do you guys remember? Because this is how we
Yes.
get the introduction to our
So,
green
lawyer.
friend.
Interestingly
Mark
enough,
Ruffalo.
right
Yes.
before we
Ruffalo.
got to that, when God's talking to Max and he's like, "I see the way you guys look at each other. Like there's love there. Like
yes,
marry
yes,
her."
yes.
And then for in
He's
my
the one that brings it up.
I for a split second thought like, "Oh, wait a minute. Is this like black and white whole thing? Is this the past?" And he grows up to be Mark Ruffalo,
fuck, you really
and she
got
stays
into it, man.
immortal.
Damn.
And this
Really
is kind of
got-
where
Is this
we're
an
going
alternate
with this.
universe?
That's
Where-
what I thought was happening. Where she just stays the
Bruce
same
Banner?
age, and he becomes Mark Ruffalo. I was
Yeah.
like, "Holy shit!" Because I knew Ruffalo and her ended up in the trailer.
Oh, she can spend like
And I was
5
like,
minutes
what?
in your mind.
How drunk were you?
I wasn't at all. I was completely sober. I just had
Interesting.
popcorn and candy.
How much candy?
A lot, and it was the lead candy. That one though. But no, like I was like, "Oh my god, is this where it's going?" And then Ruffalo shows up. I'm like, "Oh, it's
Yeah, he's
oh,
just a
okay.
lawyer who was drawing up the
He
contract.
just showed up.
Yeah.
Fuck you, dude.
Mr.
'Cause then
Duncan.
I felt like that was like I would always hate that in films where like someone would just show up and like take the girl away from the guy or something or another. But then it was so intriguing too because Ruffalo's character, it's so unlike Ruffalo too to see him in a role
yeah.
like this.
So his character is all just about like his thought was like I'm gonna see what this fuss is all about, that they're having this really strict
Intricate
contract. And when he goes and meets her and he's like,
seduces
oh,
her.
I'm gonna take this girl on an adventure, and I think his whole purpose was just to like
Hit it
use
and
her.
quit it.
Yeah, he didn't quit it. Yep, that was it. That
Yeah.
was it. But she, in her naivety, didn't fall for it because she was never gonna fall in love because she was just wanting to experience things,
and that was new for him.
Yeah, and he got fucked over as a result.
He was not able to quit.
And she leaves with him first, though.
Yeah, he does leave with it. They go to Portugal, and
but that's when it changes into color.
Yes, which is significant.
Very
Good observations.
Because that is when she opens her eyes to the world.
That's right.
Yep.
Good job. Excellent.
Yes,
Excellent.
I too was gonna say this. I'm glad that we talked about this, my wife, and we agreed on this statement. Very good
my God.
observation.
This guy, Uble is a lot like Mark Ruffalo. Always trying to keep you down.
Yeah,
Not giving you credit. Not giving you credit.
I hope. Now I know not to leave my winnings out on my bed. Doesn't want to give it to the poor, to the poor things.
I gotta say, I've never seen Emma Stone do this type of role, and she like totally impressed me with like how
she went all in, man.
How far she went.
All in.
I mean, there's really some raw sex scenes in this movie, which I enjoyed. And they were very funny at certain points because of how crazy they got. I just started laughing.
With the furious jumping?
The furious, the furious jumping. I love her, the way she just named things.
She was just so blunt.
The heat inside. So and you do your tongue play. And oh man.
Tongue play now?
We do the tongue play now? Yeah. Yeah. And man. I don't know. I enjoyed all of that. I was really into the movie at this point. Like I was loving it.
Yeah.
I love like her going out into the world and experiencing it and like making her mistakes and like fucking up the dinner scene when he's with
so great.
Mark Ruffalo and she's she doesn't know any of the society, the behavioral.
Delighted.
Yeah.
That was up there.
How did it get the crisps so burnt on the end?
No, crisp.
So crisps.
After like, my mom is gonna die or something.
Mom's gonna die.
Like,
Delighted.
It's
magnificent.
There's also a great sex joke in there that I can't remember.
Before.
Yeah.
It's something about something about her mouth, and then the friend like implies that
the penis.
Yeah.
And they go, "Oh, you're talking about the penis."
And then the guy gets all stiff.
Sometimes Max is
like,
salty. Sometimes Max is salted, and it causes you.
Not Max. Max is
it's
good
Duncan.
guy.
Duncan. Yeah, sometimes Duncan
Come on,
is
Ben.
salty.
Yeah.
You guys know what I meant.
No.
But it makes you think. It's not something that snaps right away. It's like a 2-second delay where you're like, oh, I get it.
I don't know
what
about
you're
you,
talking
but
about.
I wish my wife would tell me that my penis is salty.
I'm so sorry, Lori.
Make sure she watches this. Maybe she get a hint.
Next time I'll put some pepper on it. Maybe some of that Loki sauce.
God.
Is your penis salty, Uble? What should I ask?
So we're going back to the movie.
What do you like to know? What do you like to know?
No, let's
Sam?
continue with the movie. Let's continue with the movie. Going off.
So nervous.
Okay. He's starting to sweat.
No.
How was your guys' movie theaters? Out of curiosity, with the sex.
Mine was
scenes?
packed. Oh,
no, because you mentioned too, like it is very intense, but then there's also an element of comedicness to it. It felt like I felt my theater blush. For some reason, the way like everyone got really quiet when the sex scenes happened, and then when like the lighter moments happened, everyone would be like,
yeah.
Like it was, you could tell like the theater was bashful. At least for me,
I was snapping the whole time.
I can already see.
I have to say something. I have a very, very loud, annoying laugh. And so I think once people heard that I was laughing, everybody was just like,
if
that guy's laughing, then it's okay. And my theater was just like laughing.
Going on your cue.
All the
going on your cue.
All the
everyone's waiting for
awkward,
Sam.
all the awkward moments. All you would hear is like me go, and then everybody would be like, yeah.
Sure. They probably just didn't want to scare you.
The title card comes up.
Yeah.
Going back to the movie.
Yeah.
As after they're in Lisbon for a while, Bella starts to kind of realize that Duncan, Mark Ruffalo's character, is not that great.
Yeah.
And there's
But
more
in bed though.
Yeah. That's
She
true.
considers him a
No.
10 in bed.
Yeah.
He's a
Well, because
10.
she hasn't had anything else at this point,
That's
right?
true. This is also
And so she
I
just
love that point where she called him out for man's weakness. Where he's like, I need a breather, like before we keep going.
It's a man's weakness.
Yeah.
So this weakness, and he's like,
pretty much.
Yeah.
he didn't want to admit it to it.
No,
Yeah.
he said yeah.
Yeah, he said,
Ultimately,
he
yeah,
admitted to
ultimately,
it.
yeah. He did. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he's-
true.
At first, he was like, I guess it is.
No, he
That's
said
right.
yeah.
And so Mark Ruffalo's character Duncan feels like he's starting to lose control of her.
This is all on
And-
the boat still.
No, this is
No,
before they get to
before.
the boat.
That's why
They're
he
still in
kidnaps
Lisbon.
her.
Yeah, and that's when he has the idea of putting her on the chest and taking her on the boat, thinking that, this way I can keep her, from running away. Because she's been just going out and exploring and,
Getting drunk.
hanging
Did
out,
you
getting
guys-
drunk.
See where
Yes.
she went to get shots, and then you just next see her like all passed
She's
out.
passed out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice that with every transition, her speech was increasing
Yeah.
slowly
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah,
slowly?
definitely.
She was getting better and better with
And
it.
that was so
vernacular.
well done too, by the way.
Yeah.
Like it was subtle, and as it was going, it was less of like putting herself like in a third person perspective, and
Yeah.
like in the way that evolved. But hell yeah,
The screenplay is really good, man.
At one point,
this,
I like that Mark Ruffalo's character points out that, well, how is it that you don't know what a
Oh.
banana is, but you're able to use words like
empirical.
empirical. She's like, I don't fucking know. Empirical is empirical. What the fuck is a banana? Yeah. So I like that this movie. So one of the things that I noticed going back to the visual is there was a lot of inconsistencies. I know it's steampunk, but it was just odd to see this movie that takes place during Victorian era fashion and entertainment, but then they're like on this steamboat or this cruise liner that looks like a steamboat with fancy futuristic. So that uneasiness though that I felt in my brain trying to mend
pieces
those
together,
two
yeah.
things, I think was supposed to add to the weirdness that you're supposed to
I'd
feel.
say so. Yeah.
I think
Throughout
it's
like
also
the uneasiness of seeing a dog with a duck body or vice versa.
And the fisheye lenses.
And the fisheye lenses and all these things are done as a visual, like we're just gonna add to you feeling
it's
uneasy.
all
Fuck
it's
with
all
your
representative, I
Yeah.
think, of the fact that these characters, Bella Baxter and God, are kind of being put together from different parts and so on. So like your whole movie is sort of this kind of environment that's put together from different parts, whether it's Victorian era and you get some stuff that's futuristic, that's very futuristic. I mean, when they're in
I think it
Lisbon,
was
there's
a-
like these like trams or
monorail
whatever,
things, yeah.
that look like they're from way in the
that's
future,
straight out.
Yeah.
Yep.
and it made kind of no sense. But
Well, I think it's a commentary on the film as a whole.
yeah. I
definitely.
think the whole film is sort of this kind of Frankenstein sort of style that's happening.
yeah.
with
And
it.
that comes down to again what this whole thing kind of is a take on Frankenstein.
Oh yeah,
Like,
for sure.
So just
Yeah.
seeing that keep manifesting itself in the film, I thought was incredibly well done. And I really wanted to point out real quick before I forgot, when we saw God's face and the scars
Yeah.
for a split second, again, I was like, oh, is he Frankenstein's monster?
Oh, your brain.
yeah.
Your brain.
You really want to connect the universes. It's always
I was a little off. Like when I did see her turn around and her feet were up, I was like, "Oh my God, is he gonna rape her?" And
Oh,
then
there was a scene in the beginning.
No, right in the
Oh, he's
beginning when
reading the
her-
story to her.
no,
No,
she's
not
on the
in bed.
piano,
On the
and then he
piano.
walks
Oh.
in, and then when she's lying down in bed with him, and she puts her leg over, I was like, "This fucking monster! Like he's just with her
Yeah.
for like a
selfish
sex
purposes.
purpose."
But it wasn't.
and it wasn't.
And it wasn't.
It was more of a
that-
fatherly thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah,
that
he was reading
supposed-
the story.
Agreed. Yeah. No, and I glad you got that because I also felt uneasy when that was happening.
Yes. Yeah.
And then
it's
once,
meant to.
yeah, and then once we develops and we see, okay, no, this is entirely he entirely sees her platonically.
Well, he did confess that it's because he didn't have.
Oh, yeah,
And then
he
we-
was
then we
also-
know, yeah, and
He's
that,
so-
then his and then that's why it took over for a fatherly thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like,
It was
you
forced.
have to enough power for what to power the country would be enough to get an erection. or something?
I will say I did very. I think it was very whimsical. I love the script. I love the
dialogue was
exchanges,
great.
the dialogue.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about the score? Did you guys say anything?
Okay,
Yes!
so the score
I love
actually
the
There were
score,
times
man.
where it was just a regular scene, but the score just added to that fucking like.
And the score was very like off notes.
Yeah.
It was
on purpose.
When you were
Again.
talking about the movie in the beginning, like how we felt about it or how it made us feel, like that actually annoyed the shit out of me at the very beginning. How off note the music was. I'm like, fuck, if this is gonna be throughout the entire movie, I'm gonna have a hard fucking time.
Yeah.
But then it went with it eventually.
Yeah, I think it adds almost to like a horror element to it. The is just the the disturbance that you are meant to feel is part of what the score is doing as well.
Yeah.
Like going. Let's go back into the story because they're in the
Yeah,
boat
we
and
were
they
talking about
meet.
the boat. Yeah.
And that's where Bella
She
meets
makes friends.
the two characters whose names I do not remember.
Oh, we can. I mean, luckily we have our producer here.
Our
on
producer,
IMDb.
yeah.
Ow, my elbow.
Oh, what happened?
I hit the funny
That
bone.
wasn't their name.
Ooh,
Jared.
La gordita y el
right there.
flaquito.
La gordita y el
Go down a little
flaquito.
bit
Gordo
more.
la flaca?
Harry.
Harry,
Harry and Mrs. No, not Mrs. Prim.
No, that she was the.
Toinette. No.
I just
Scroll
gotta
down.
say, Mrs. Pri, I think, Mrs. Prim. Mrs. Prim.
No, Mrs. Prim. She was the maid in the.
Does it
That's
matter?
true.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't
La
matter.
viejita y el flaquito.
Yeah.
Okay,
We would've
la
waited
viejita
for
y el
like 5 more
flaquito.
minutes. That was the girl from Titanic. You're thinking of my wife needs to be more often so she can bring us back.
And I really love this part because the philosophy major of mine was just like, oh yeah, start
that's
going
right.
into like just all these
Philosophy.
philosophical.
That was good. That was
these
interesting.
philosophical
Yeah.
discussions, and this is where she starts to really feed her mind.
Yep.
And beforehand, it was all about feeding her body, all these primal desires that she had, and now it was more about the sort of mental.
She starts reading.
Yeah, go
Going
for
back
it.
really quick to the primal desires.
Yes.
At first, I was like, "This bitch is gonna be a serial killer. This is a serial killer movie." But it is the primal like instinct
Yeah.
Yeah.
to see death, to see blood, to be
see it.
cruel.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
socially taught to not do that.
That's true. Yeah.
Like that's our
true.
inherent.
Yeah.
Like,
It is
Yeah, I
inherent.
see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah,
Even
because
when
she kills the
pause-
frog.
pause
Yeah,
really
she-
quick
yeah, she
because
never
even
was exposed.
after the second
Well, she was.
experiment, you know, she
stabbing of
catches
the
it
knives.
and she's
Yeah.
cool with it.
Yeah, that scene where she's stabbing the corpse in the
Yeah.
face.
Oh, that is- yeah.
That's what I was
Jesus
thinking of,
Christ,
yeah.
I was
I
not
loved it.
expecting that one.
But are we
And
thinking
they're like,
that
only
because
dead
society?
bodies, Bella.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
only dead bodies.
I-
Yeah.
it does say something about human nature that I like, and I want to get that towards more about the end when we kind of get some final thoughts. But
Can
yeah.
you play Michael Jackson, Human Nature?
I was
Thirds of-
thinking. I hadn't really thought of human nature.
Beat it.
That's
No.
not the song.
No? Oh, I don't know.
Why
Michael
you got
Jackson
you
that well.
ruin everything?
I
Ubre.
know, man.
Just-
I get awkward.
Can you just
I get
leave?
nervous.
For God's
I
sake.
should. I'll just stop.
Anyways, really love that. Thank you, Michael Jackson.
Oh, that was a good
that was
one.
good.
So-
Yeah, that was
Good.
good.
Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you. I
so-
grabbed my crotch when I did that.
I think.
Speaking of grabbing your crotch, so at that point we realized, that Duncan no longer has a hold or sway over her.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
starting
that
to
was
lose it.
slowly.
So
Yeah,
he's
that was
losing
slowly
his
being,
grip.
Yep.
So he goes and drinks
And
heavily
manhood.
and
He's
gambles
drinking
heavily.
and he's gambling.
Heavily.
And that's the night where she goes to see Harry, and Harry decides to
Takes
show
him-
her the slums.
the worst
yeah.
parts of human nature,
the
basically.
worst parts. There's babies dying
That was
down
rough.
there, and
Because
why
he's
can't
a
we help
cynic.
them? Yeah, well, why would we help them? If the tables were turned, they'd be down there, and they'd be up here, and we'd be down there, and things wouldn't be the same, any different. And then she fucking freaks out, and she's like, "Holy shit! I've never even knew this." And she goes in back to her room, and she finds poor fucking Duncan
After he hit it
passed
big.
out on his bed, covered in money, just.
'Cause
The
he-
biggest dollar bills you've ever seen. Imagine, like I don't mean them in money wise. I mean them like size wise.
Yeah, they're like this.
Motherfuckers look like Willy
fucking
Wonka
postcards.
golden tickets.
In this world, that's the kind of
That's
money
the
that's
currency, I guess. It looks really
But why
inconvenient.
don't they have a bank account? Like it was literally all his fucking money.
Oh,
Steampunk.
well, he won it from the gambling.
Yeah, he wanted
no,
from
it
the
was his
gambling.
whole money because even he
Well,
was
he
like,
had lost
Bella.
a bunch of money on
I'm
the boat
sure he had bet
gambling.
everything he had.
Yeah,
And
and then he
won
said,
it.
"I
Hence,
won
no
it
bank
all. I
account.
won it
Yeah.
all."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bank
well,
account. It's
So then,
on the
yeah,
rules.
Bella gets the money.
Where was the bank on the boat?
She and those two fucking sailor henchmen came up.
Oh hell yeah!
I like to
how
think,
sharp they were. Oh, we'll give it
Yes,
to them.
we'll
We're
give it-
staying here.
I would like to think that they. I would have liked an after credit scene like they do in the
spin-off?
Marvel
Oh.
movies.
They got fucked.
where they're
in
like on the
jail.
beach. What? No.
Oh.
Where they're on the beach.
What movie did you watch?
Well, they
Holding-
deserved that
Oh,
because
you
it
wanna see
was
that
no.
happen.
It's not their fault.
Society has taught me that is wrong, and
If someone
that
came
is
and
why
said,
I
if someone
shame
came
them.
to you and said, "Please have this money, give it to the aliens that are gonna visit tomorrow," you'd be like,
No,
Well, he
she
wasn't
was.
talking
It was
about aliens.
realistic.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
It's
actual
his
people.
example.
Yeah.
"Yes,
All the time.
yes."
Again,
They were
why
bad.
are you here?
Well, Trump
Wild
would say
card,
they were
baby.
aliens.
Fucking wild card.
You guys, they're not listening to me.
No, I'm sorry.
Anyway,
I said Trump would say they are aliens.
I know. Then I heard
technically.
Trump, and I'm
Thank
all
you.
like,
Okay, fine. Back
So-
to poor things.
they go back and he's freaking out that he thinks he got robbed.
Yes.
And he brought the fucking captain. He requests the captain's presence. And then she's like, "No, I gave all the money away." And they're like, "You're fucking getting off at the next
Yep.
stop."
Yeah, they
And
kick him
then
out.
we lead to the next, the third act, if you will.
When they're in Paris,
They're in Paris.
Oui,
in
oui.
Paris.
and she becomes a prostitute.
She decides, well, he says we need money. He says he's out of money.
I like Noel's reaction. He was like,
Wait,
what?
you haven't seen it?
No, we're
He's
spoiling
not gonna
everything for
watch
him.
it.
this
Yeah.
happens
That's not
pretty
right.
often, actually.
So they're poor, they're broke, they're completely broke, and she realizes I need to make money. She comes across this brothel, and the what do you call the woman who leads the
Handmaiden?
brothel? Is it the maid? The
No.
maiden?
Well, back up really quick because Duncan plays a really significant role here,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's like, you thought he was on his low. Now he's on his lowest. He has
Yeah.
no money. He
Yeah.
has no title.
Yeah.
He's
His pets' heads are
upset.
falling
He's, crying in the corner. And what happened?
And he doesn't even look for a solution. He's just crying and
No, he's just
wallowing.
crying. He's
Yeah.
defeated.
It
Why are you
sucks. Yeah,
laughing?
I'm sorry. This one.
It wasn't a joke I
He
made
did
that
a
only he
joke
caught.
That only I caught.
Oh, what was it?
What was
It
it?
doesn't matter.
We
It's-
want to
it's-
laugh.
The
it's
moment
from-
has passed.
It's passed already. It
Moment
wouldn't
has
work.
This is
It
where
wouldn't
you do
work. But
rewind.
yes, Mark Ruffalo
Oh,
portrays it in this
He's
part
crying.
of the scene.
He's hurting. His
Yeah,
manhood has been.
And he was
man.
so
Disrespected.
confident in the beginning.
That's
And
true.
through fights and sex with Emma Stone, she ends up breaking him down to the point where now he's this coward in the bench.
Karma.
Upset, sad, defeated. And what does she do? Does she depend on him? No, she finds her own
She's
way.
like, I think she even says, "I'm bored of you now.
Yeah.
Like I'm annoyed with you now.
I feel like I
don't
remember that.
anymore."
Yeah.
Let's go back to the prostitution.
So
This
she
is-
takes a freelancing job. She gets 30 francs for one lay. And she goes back very proudly.
Madam only asked for 10.
Yeah,
Yes.
Madam
Oh,
asked for
her
10.
commission.
She yeah.
33.
She goes back to Duncan proudly and like, "Look, I got us these chocolate desserts."
Yeah.
And he's all like, "Whoa, cool."
No, he's like, did you steal them?
Yeah, yeah.
What happened?
As he's eating them, he's like,
Yeah.
And she's happy because she thinks that
She thinks
he's
she
got
did
good
good.
news.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good news because like she tells
Oh,
him like,
that's right.
I
also
didn't know
confirmed.
that you were actually really good, but now I've confirmed that you're
I've
actually
confirmed.
really
And
good.
I want to
because-
say that's when she starts to like put her sentences together. Was after that eye opening. I'll play it back
Yeah.
and see, but I think that's the moment where she's able to fully communicate quickly.
Yeah.
I just
Maybe.
fuck someone else.
Maybe.
So.
I don't remember, but yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so.
So
But yeah.
he obviously gets upset with that news.
Yeah,
He's like,
'cause he
"What?
can't handle
People
that."
don't do that. You don't what?" And she's like, "Why not?" Which they're not wrong. She's not wrong, which is like, "Why not? People will pay me for this and I need money."
It's a good job.
And yeah, it's even the bigger conversation point of sex work is work.
It is work.
know.
Yeah.
And-
That's a different
and they
episode.
clearly show how much work it is. I mean,
Look, we'll
she
talk
had
more
her-
about this when we do Julia Roberts' Pretty Woman. For now,
no.
let's stay on topic because we're gonna go
It
off
is on
tangent.
topic. It is on topic.
It is.
Okay,
Yeah.
go for it.
Because she after Mark Ruffalo gets all pissed off and runs away, she's like, "Oh, whatever, I'm gonna go get this job."
No.
Yeah.
She pulls out money and she's all like, "You
Oh
stupid
yeah,
ass.
that's
You
right.
stupid ass. I
That's
can't
right.
depend on you anymore.
right.
Fucking here's the money. We gotta go." And she's like, "You've had
No,
this
she's
for
like,
so
"I'll pay for your
long."
passage."
Yeah, like, get out of
I'm
here.
done with
Yeah.
you.
That's
Clubs all this time.
That's what it was. He's like, "Yeah, we're the Rockies."
I saved it for an emergency.
He's like, "The past 3 weeks have been an emergency. She's like, for you, I guess. Here. Yeah, that part was hilarious. That would have broken me.
Yeah.
That would have broken me. So I
and he leaves. He takes all her shit and
Yeah.
he decides
Yeah.
to leave.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
then she's stuck alone and she's like, you know
You
what?
guys remind me. At this point, had he confessed that he had loved her on the boat?
Oh, multiple
Yeah.
times.
yeah, right.
yeah.
It did happen.
By this
Yeah.
time, multiple
But
times.
it's not real love.
I
It's,
love it when the first time she left, he was like pacing back and forth all pissed.
Yeah, and he turns back cool when he
And
comes
then
back.
she walks back and he's like,
He's acting cool, like,
He's
Oh yeah.
where have
well,
you been?
Oh yeah. It's in the very
the
first time.
pride, the
Yeah,
men. The pride. Does that take you back when you guys started dating someone and then you would be like,
I was
too
never
cool?
allowed.
Absolutely not. I have
No.
absolutely no. My wife can go wherever she wants, except for a brothel. No brothels.
She can't go to the brothel.
She can go to the
Well, she's
brothel.
just visiting.
Yeah, she can visit. She
Just
can
pass
You
visit.
just don't want her to work at the brothel.
Monopoly. She just
I don't want her
passes
to work
by.
as. I don't want her to work as a prostitute.
Monopoly.
Yeah, it's just
But she's welcome to explore different
I'm-
things.
I was never controlling like that. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
What just happened?
Oh, Maria asked us a question.
I think
She asked us a
I think we're.
And she's like, did that bring you back to your guys' and dating and this?
get
Oh,
and that?
that's right. You did.
I'm gonna just start. This is
Are you
therapy
sweating
now.
over there?
No, I'm
Therapy.
perfectly good. I do want to make sure that we mince the movie, though. So,
So let's get into it because the next like 20 minutes are
Her journey at the brothel.
yes, an insane amount of sex. I mean, it is fucking insane, and I appreciated
Yes.
every minute of it.
every scene of her at the
I
brothel.
wish I could have stopped it and rewound it and
Well,
You're
started all
fucking
over
gross
again.
because there's a scene where two kids are watching them.
That
It was
one very
educational.
wasn't
I
can't.
easy.
I
One of
fucking
them was
can't
taking
with
notes.
And Mia, it was
You
educational.
know which one of those school kids is going to be the more successful
So
one, right?
I mean, even okay. So
That is a very
since
responsible
we're talking
father.
about hold on. Since we're talking about these, we're talking about this montage of sex scenes. Look at that compared to the other montage of sex scenes. The entirely different themes that are happening. The different like where she's at in life, and like it's couldn't be so much more different. And I think that was very telling too of this journey and what this is now. In her sense of broadening her horizons.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I think it's representative of her seeing all the different ways life can go.
Well,
Over
and,
there.
and while she's at the brothel, she's always making suggestions like, why don't the women pick? Like,
Yeah.
why is it the men? Like, do you want us? Do you realize that we're faking it, or like that wouldn't you want someone that's into you and all that? So she was already challenging the system.
Yeah.
Which I loved, and how she even had to pull her aside and discuss some more about that.
yeah.
Oh, she pulled her aside and she also did other things to discuss feminism.
Oh, yeah.
And
There
her
was a
body.
scene with her friend from the brothel. What's her face?
Is that what we're talking about? Because you just said she. Who's the
Yeah.
she?
the
Yeah,
she. There was
the
the
madam
madam
or
or her
the
friend?
or
No, the
her-
friend.
her-
The friend.
The friend.
The
The
friend.
madam
Oh,
was.
madam
I was
just
talking about
bit
the
her.
madam.
The madam
that
was
pulled her aside
incredibly
earlier.
weird.
Yeah.
Where
was
else
like-
is she from? Where do I know her from?
I have no idea, but she
She's
was
been in other
tiny
work.
and filled with tattoos.
American
Yeah.
Horror Story, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, she
Maybe
looks
that's
like
what
she
I
would be in
remember.
American Horror Stories, but I think she was also
Catherine Hunter.
Was it
Swiney.
Air Bud?
Sweeney.
Ooh,
Or Sweeney.
Sweeney.
I think it's
She's up
her.
there, yeah. That is her. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's
that's
her.
her. Where else do I know her from?
I have no idea. I never seen her before,
Let's
but she was
do-
great.
No, she's
Very
definitely
weird. I loved
Two
her.
wins.
Girls
A ver, a ver.
Oh,
Oh my
She's
God! What
in-
are you yelling?
She's in Macbeth. Like the
Oh, yeah,
most recent
Tragedy
Tragedy
of
of
Macbeth.
Macbeth.
Harry Potter. There you go. That's where I know her from. She's the one that
Arabella
goes up to Harry in the alleyway after he saves his cousin from the Dementors. Remember
So
the Dementors?
specific.
Yes.
The Dementor shows up, and then she shows up, and she's like, "Harry, don't put your wand away. Not now." And he's like, "What? You're a witch? What?"
And you know what? It was Niggany the snake that died first.
He
that was a
is
question
thinking.
from earlier.
Wait, was that
About
really
the
what
wand.
happened?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what happens. What do you mean? Why are you
It's
laughing?
the way you're
Here's
wording it after we were just
That's
talking about sex
verbatim.
scenes.
Oh, your wand.
Put your wand away. Not now.
Yeah, no, no.
No.
Okay, no, that's very funny. Bringing it back
It's
to the
fucking
cast.
hilarious.
Yeah,
Oh.
Is it?
yeah. She experiences a very awakening with her friend. What's her name?
Toinette. It's played by Susie Bemba.
Yeah,
She was great in it.
Toinette.
I liked her a lot too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So she
were
eats
those
her
times.
out, right?
Yes.
And then
That
her
happens.
eyes get bigger, and she's like, "Oh my god! Now I'm experiencing a different kind of sexuality, right?"
Yeah. No, I want to hear more about
You're
this.
completely right.
I want to hear more. Just
I was also
more details,
experiencing a
please.
different type of sexuality as I was watching it.
Did you say you felt yourself?
This is
becoming
one of my
slightly lesbian?
favorite movies. I gotta be honest.
You know what? When it started going super porn, I was like, fuck that. Fuck Morons Mincing this movie. I wonder why. They chose this movie.
She came home that night. She was like, now I know why you're missing this movie. And I was like,
I didn't know there was going to be this much sex.
We started this episode discussing what we thought about it.
Listen,
without giving me any spoilers, what the fuck are you talking about?
Listen, before we finish mincing it, I will say at the start, I was like, fuck this movie. It's weird as fuck. I'm looking at my friend every time saying, what the fuck?
Yeah. What the fuck?
But at the end of the movie, it is my second favorite movie of all time.
Of all time?
All fucking time.
Better than our wedding video.
Right.
I was walking with my boots, my rain boots, because it was raining.
They were meant for walking.
And they were fucking meant for walking.
All over you.
And they were walking all over you.
Yeah.
All over him.
Hell yeah.
All over you.
All over you.
Don't. You can't walk over me. I'm slithery.
You are.
Slytherin.
Slither. Anyways, let's finish it off here.
So
during this whole fuck fest
now with Twinette.
Yeah, during this whole fuck fest and the relationship with Twinette, we cut back and forth to what's going on with God and Max.
Real quick, if I may, when you were talking about the eyes opening and how every single time there's something big that's happening, at this point she's now fluent in French.
That's true.
Know.
Right after that.
That's right. Because
Right
of all
after
the
that, she's fluent
clientele.
in French.
Yeah.
Fluent in French.
I didn't catch that. That was good.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to go back and rewatch this movie, knowing like stuff that has been all shared because it's crazy.
This is definitely one of those movies where you can, because of the way the structure works of the storyline, you can go back and be like, ooh, like because now you know the full thing and the way it's told, and I love doing that with movies.
Definitely. So going back to the movie. So throughout this whole process, it does cut back to what's going on with God and Max, who are feeling very lonely. They miss Bella.
That's right.
They have a new Bella.
They decide to create a new Bella, but she's
Bella
not
2.0.
working out as well. She's not developing as well as Bella was developing. Throughout this, God, Willem Dafoe, he develops cancer, and he's dying. And Max goes out, try to find Bella and to get her back because...
Keep in mind, though, because now I'm like starting to think about the movie, that with this new creation, he even says that he doesn't want to love her like Bella. And she was created so differently from Bella.
Yeah.
And she progressed so slower
slower.
That's a
than
really
Bella.
good point, yeah.
That
Oh,
affection,
so maybe it was the love.
connection was important
Love.
for the development.
Love is what makes us mature quicker.
Father.
Love was the secret
Father.
ingredient after all. Yeah, that's
I mean,
Elle
and it has it
is
makes a bigger statement on like the
Touching,
raising of
untouched.
children,
Yeah.
The what?
like
Yeah.
raising your kids with love.
yeah.
true.
What about that?
Deep.
So there was
Number
that
one.
scene-
It just moved up to number one.
What was your number one beforehand of all time?
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Jesus, those
shit.
two
Yes.
came out like in the last
I know.
2 years.
I've been lost.
Yeah.
It was
Number
fucking
three is
Lion
Titanic.
King.
Number 3 is Titanic.
Number one was Godzilla. Then it was Lion King.
You've been. I don't like this. I don't like this.
I don't like the high fiving.
No. I was talking so much shit on Uble, but now I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna talk shit on Arturo.
Shit going all around.
Yeah, shit everywhere. God damn it! Now I'm lost. Oh,
Max finds
Max
her
finds
again.
Bella. Yes, and she comes back, and this. Yeah, and this is where Max and Bella finally hit it off, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's because Max the whole time loved her genuinely
Yeah.
and wanted her to be who she is, love her for who she is and everything. And she was like, "Wait, so you don't want to trap me? You don't want to keep me in prison?" Like it's and that
Right
was kind of
before
a new
this,
thing for her.
sorry, really quick, because we are mincing it. We're going in order. This
That's
before
right, Sam.
before Max finds her, he finds Goodman, Duncan.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes,
He finds
The
Duncan in
newspaper.
an asylum
that's
because
right.
he's
Oh,
gone
that's
crazy
right.
enough.
That's
He
right.
tried to go back,
That's right.
get her back, and she was like,
Yeah.
"I don't need you."
Like full on
right.
white padded walls.
Full on
So that's a
Brando.
really
Yeah.
big.
It was, and I love that he ran into her after she was leaving the lecture. Like she's all smart with her books. Yeah, and
And then that's when he confesses, "I went back. I freaking missed you. I am nothing. Take me back." She's like, "I'm not." And then he calls her whore. And then what does she say, babe? Because we talked about this. That I was so like, that was such a woman power mode. It's not being a whore. It's like having a
it
means
had the
of
means
your...
because there was the whole topic of socialism and all that shit, I think. And then there was a point where she said something and he was like, "Oh, I just control the means of production," or something like that.
She controls her
Yeah,
own means of production.
Yeah,
I forgot
that's right.
what the
when you
line
heard me.
was.
Yeah,
Yep,
she's
yep.
a capitalist.
Snappy.
Yeah.
Socialist feminism.
Absolutely not. Total capitalist. She
hold
went
on.
into business
God
on her
damn
own. Was making
Starting her
profit.
own business.
Hour-long tangent.
Yeah.
Real
No,
quick,
no,
if
no.
I may, when all this was
Socialism
happening,
in this.
So that's how he finds out where she's at
Oh,
because
yeah.
he runs into him at the asylum.
Correct,
Oh, yeah.
but I just really want what the way he reacted. I think is so indicative because I see this a lot in real life, and it pissed me the fuck off. It's like there'll be all these dudes that try to do everything to get with a girl and get in bed with her or what have you, and then all of a sudden when they reject her, when they reject him, it's like, oh, you're a whore, you're a slut, and it's like, okay,
And she
now
was a
it
slut.
becomes that.
She was.
She was a hoe.
I mean, that was her choice.
Oh, show.
Like in the sense of like,
show.
it's just that's where the insult immediately comes in, and like, oh, because you rejected me, now you're this, and
Yeah.
it's like you run away with that.
That part, sorry. That part where he bangs his head.
On the table.
Oh,
yeah,
early in the
twice?
movie?
That's the
Yeah.
first time
Goes
he
back
finds
again?
out that she cheated on him.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
So that
She had the
just
tattoos on her
rams
thighs.
his head on the table.
Yeah.
She was just getting tattoos. I don't know what the problem was.
So
Were they tattoos?
No, then she got cunnilingus as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was tongue
What
play.
is that?
There was tongue
No,
play.
no. I'm saying were they tattoos or did
yeah,
she just
they were
write?
tattoos. Yeah, there were tattoos.
I would assume they were.
She didn't write
tattoos.
them? Because it
No.
said soft one and softer one or something.
Oh, I thought they were tattoos.
I
could've
thought they were
sworn-
tattoos too.
I thought there were.
You know, I
No,
never
I
saw
think
them
he
again.
asked-
Maybe she did write it.
Yeah, she wrote it because she asked.
Does it matter?
With
It-
what?
You're right.
If it's tattoos.
Fuck! I turned
Well,
into
Mark-
you in like fucking what?
Thank you.
50 minutes?
Just take
So-
10 minutes.
It mattered.
Exposure.
Damn.
This is why we're out here fucking till 3 in the morning.
I want to know which thigh was the softest thigh,
Yeah.
so I can imagine.
No, I'm arguing that it
how
wasn't a
soft it
tattoo.
So
Well,
she
what
goes
you would
back.
use? Sharpies didn't exist. What would she have used?
Sharpies.
Dogs and fucking chicken asses.
What? Ink?
What ink?
Pen ink? I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait, let's get back to the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. So State Asylum,
so-
Max.
No,
She
no,
goes-
but let's
they
fast
find
forward
her.
a little
Bella,
bit. Let's fast
marriage.
forward.
Yeah, fast
Yeah.
forward a bit.
No, that's
15
my
minutes.
favorite part where Duncan
No.
is losing his shit.
In the asylum?
He calls her a demon.
Oh,
Yeah, we've
Oh
already.
yeah,
all the way back, or which part?
in the asylum when
In
he's
the
fighting with
asylum.
Max
In the asylum.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that's like.
Well, he didn't call her a demon till later. At the wedding, he
at
called
the
her a
wedding.
demon.
Yes,
No,
which
then
is a
he also
perfect
called her-
segue. So
Yeah.
Max and Bella decide that they are gonna get
Okay,
married.
real quick. At the wedding,
Okay,
I
we're
was
good at
so
the wedding.
happy. Like I'm like, oh, this is a happy ending. Like it was
Literally.
like Godwin was still alive. All this was coming.
Walked
to
her down the
fruition.
aisle.
He walked her down
Yeah.
the aisle. I
Yeah,
got
why
choked-
though?
I choked up during that.
Yeah, the line where he comes, she's like, "How are you walking?" She's like, "I'm on 5 milligrams of heroin
And some cocaine.
and met some
Cocaine.
methamphetamines and some cocaine because I like it."
cocaine.
Yeah,
Because he
I
gave
like cocaine.
explanations for everything. Like I'm on this for this
Yeah.
for this, and cocaine because I like cocaine.
Because I like cocaine. Yeah, I absolutely loved it.
Oh, it was so good. But then, like, it was just this moment, like, oh, I was so excited, and all of a
Happy
sudden,
ending.
this
Yeah.
fucker shows up again, and like this
Again,
whole
it's
thing
the-
now, like,
Mark Ruffalo.
she just seduced me, and she put me under her spell. She's a witch. Again, that whole fucking shit. She
Succubus.
rejected you.
Well,
and now you're acting like
he
this.
found the guy who was married to who she
Yes.
was before
Bum, bum,
she was switched.
bum.
There was
Yeah.
we didn't mention it, but earlier in the movie, there's a
Someone
scene where Mark
recognized her.
Ruffalo is with
Oh,
Bella
yeah.
in public, and someone recognizes her as a different person, Victoria Suffix or something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that.
And Mark Ruffalo's character makes a mental note of that. And eventually, when things don't go his way and he gets out of the mental asylum, he looks up that name on Google, I guess, and finds out her backstory and gets the husband of
To
Bella
show up at the wedding.
to show up at the wedding.
And fucked it up for
Fucked it up,
Max, man.
man.
And I
Yep.
was rooting for Max. I liked
too,
Max.
man.
Poor Max, dude. He just waited.
Yeah, poor
just
guy,
waited.
man.
It's just like
He was doing
man.
his homework, just
This
waiting.
is you guys. Why you guys take advantage of men like that?
Yeah.
Come on, Mia. What's going on?
Yeah,
Anyways,
Mia.
Gotta go.
so she fucking leaves him because she's curious about what this guy's all about. I think it's more about curiosity than anything. And then he's a total fucking
Well,
asshole.
No, that's just him, but also where she came from.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's where you
That's
start
true.
finding out her backstory.
Yes. You
And
find out
that's-
about who she was, and she was
Because
kind of a bitch.
she did find out too. We completely glossed all over that. she finds out where she came from when she goes back to visit God.
Yeah,
When he's
she
dying.
asks
That's right.
God, that's right. She
Because her
pulls up
lover
file. Yeah.
marks that's a baby scar
That's
that
right.
she had after she
Yes.
ate her, and then that's when they were like, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I had a baby."
I like the line that she used when she showed up and she sees God. She's like, I'm afraid that I also come with like questions and inquiries in addition to my, woes and sympathies or something like that. And I was like, oh, it's a very direct way of saying, I'm very happy to see you, but I do have a lot of fucking questions for you.
Yeah.
And that's where she just starts inquiring, and he, to his credit, I guess, tells her everything, right? Like he just lays it out for her, and
She reads the journal.
she reads the journal, and she finds out that she was found in the.
How
side
would
of
you
a
guys
river.
feel?
Fuck, man.
If
That'd
I
be a
found out
trip.
that me as a
You
person
had a
right
baby
now
brain.
was the baby brain,
Yeah.
not just any baby
I think
brain.
I still have a baby brain. It might,
Yeah,
Maybe.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe yes. But no, how would you feel,
Undeveloped.
Arturo?
It's definitely a mind fuck.
She took it so like fucking calm,
Nonchalant.
cool, collective. Like,
You know
Well,
what? You know what?
I
I took
think
that conversation that she has when he's on lying down and she's telling her, "I thank you for life. At least it was interesting of it, but with this life came all these woes and tragedies and pain and whatever." I took that as representative of what we all kind of have with our creator or lack thereof, or just of our existence in general. Of like, we're appreciative that we have a life at all, because hey, it's better than being nothing, right? But we're also very much like, but fuck, why does it have to have all this pain and shit and all this crap that I have to go through? And I really kind of liked that conversation. I felt it was very representative of a very universal sort of feeling that we have as humans. Sort of getting to human nature part.
I kind of spaced out in the beginning.
Of Sam talking?
I'm glad you said it because I wasn't gonna say it.
Wait. Were you talking about the conversation she had with the
God.
guy?
With God.
No.
With God.
I
That's why he's God. He's the creator.
Okay, so crazy enough, you're talking about that. I'm thinking of her conversation with
Harry. Harry.
If
That's a name.
no Harry,
Flaquito.
because he says that people
We-
put a lot of trust in God, capitalism, socialism. He names them, right?
Yeah.
And I'm
And
like,
they're all bullshit.
and it's the same
Yeah.
Oh.
words regurgitated from her mouth at the end to God, right? And even just saying that out loud, it's like it's her mouth to God. You know what I mean? Saying all these things. But anyways, so it's funny I spaced out in the beginning of you talking, but you guys, I mean, it was the same people.
It just came in. It came. Yeah. It came to
Her
you.
conversation
I
with
spaced out for
Matthew.
like 90% of Sam's conversations.
It came full
It was.
circle.
It was a very
I will
important
say-
conversation between God and Bella.
I was.
So there,
for it, babe.
She goes. She finally makes it back. She finally. You guys can both share me, please. Stop. She goes back to the home that was
Yes.
originally hers as Victoria, and it's funny
Oh,
because
and this guy's a complete douchebag, asshole,
okay.
motherfucker. By the way,
Here's the funny thing, though, is that right before he pulls up to the house and is about to get it out, he cocks a gun and he says, "By the way, I'm beginning to think the staff here doesn't like me because of how much of a dick I am to them. I'm pretty sure they're plotting to kill me. Let's go." And they open the door, and so like she's immediately exposed to this role of like, what kind of fucking person was I if this was? And she has her suspicions, and then they're having dinner. And
No,
she's
there's a
straight
maid
up-
that greets her. Doesn't
There's a
talk.
maid
No
that- yeah.
one's talking to
She's
her.
asking the
No one
She has a
greets
broken
her.
arm.
Well, everyone's
Yeah.
afraid of
Everyone is terrified. It's all
him
gloomy. It
and who
looks,
she
Well,
was.
everyone. Yeah.
yeah. So they're eventually having dinner, and she straight up asks her newfound husband, and he's like, "Oh, what attracted us to each other is that we're both fucking dicks.
Yeah.
Look, check this out." And he does that trick where he calls out the
Well,
maid.
he just said we have the same sense of
holding-
humor.
Yeah, we have the same sense of humor.
And they're sitting like fucking
Like
2
50
rooms
yards
apart.
away from apart. Yeah. And they bring out the maid, and they have the dark bark, and she spills her soup, and she realizes like, oh,
Oh,
fuck,
we had an affinity
I was,
for cruelty.
So the maid
Yeah.
for the viewers, or well, usually,
Yeah.
the maid is carrying a big hot soup, and they make the dog bark so that she can spill it all over
Yeah.
her arm.
And
So
he-
that's why
he
she
bursts
has
out
cracks
a
up.
laughing.
He
And-
a
cracks
huge
up at
band-aid
that.
around her arm.
Yeah.
So she was a bitch.
So the asshole is laughing, and then Emma Stone just goes, "Oh, so we had an officiation for cruelty."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
And
you
he's
we were
like,
jerks.
yeah, she's
Yeah.
like, oh, stop
then-
sounding so
Goes there, yeah.
boring.
But then she tells him about all the whoring she's been doing, and he's
Yes.
and
No,
he's just
he knew
like,
already.
No,
He didn't know,
he
really.
didn't
Not
know.
to the extent. I think he knew some, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I
that,
think so.
and then
Although
he's
Duncan would
like,
have said
well, I'm not gonna take this. So he devises a plan to basically
No,
circumcise her.
before he does that though, he already tells her, because she says, all right, I don't like this life, I'm leaving. And he's like, no,
Oh yeah, if you leave,
you're
I'm
here,
gonna shoot you.
I'm
in
gonna
the back.
shoot you.
Yeah.
And so then again,
back of
she
the
feels
head,
trapped,
to make
right?
sure.
And she's
And
like,
she has
yeah,
to
in
find
the
a
front
way.
of the back. Yeah.
Yeah. Then you get the scene where
But she overhears too. What?
That's what Mia
Yeah.
had mentioned. Yeah, is she's wandering the hallway one night and she overhears his plan to
Drug her.
essentially just
Mutilate.
drug her
Yeah.
and remove her
Clitoris.
lady
Clitoris.
parts.
it's a
There you go.
It's called a clitoris.
It's female
Clitoris.
circumcision is what it's called.
yeah.
Babe, just say clitoris.
That's okay. That's what I
It's
was
very
going
difficult
to
for
let
him.
you get to.
Clitoris.
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 This is
Clitoris.
going to be a fucking
Clitoris.
short.
It's like South Park.
You're gonna
Is
use
it
this
is
as
it
a short
clitoris
and-
or is it clitoris?
Clitoris.
Nobody really knows actually. It's interesting. Scientists have been pondering this
Babe, what is
question
it?
for clear. It's clitoris. I think. I believe the
Clitoris.
Greeks. Clitoris. Yes, I
Clitoris.
believe the
Clitoris?
Greeks named it after the god of water and rain.
So moving back. So she overhears, and so when he pours her a drink, she already knows what's up.
Yep.
Yep.
And she
And
spashes
she
it in his
stands up to
face.
him
She takes a stand and
and fucks him.
and
No.
Not literally,
no,
but
he puts a gun at her.
yeah, he points
And
the gun
he
to her.
says, you have this option to drink it or die. And what does she do? She walks up
says,
straight
I'd
to
rather,
him.
I'd rather
What's
you
up,
shoot me
bitch?
in the
And
heart.
and demasculates him. That's what I'm saying. The
Yeah.
gun is representative of his penis, and she grabs the penis and takes him away.
And stabs
Basically
the penis with his
castrates
foot.
him, and then he fucks him. Is what I'm saying, with his own penis by shooting him in the foot.
Yeah.
And that's what that scene is all about, baby.
How
So
did she get the body all the fuck way back to his lab? Did you guys wonder that?
Well, she
Max.
drugs him. She calls up Max.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
that's
also,
right,
like
Max helps.
I believe the help her out. Like
Yeah,
the-
for sure they
Oh,
were
yeah.
helping
Oh,
her.
Yeah, they help her
Yeah.
out and
Fucking
they
yes.
So-
get her back.
when she's on the operating table and she decides to save him, and I'm like, oh, cool, like that's really awesome of her, like wanting to still save him.
Wait.
Hold on,
Sorry.
wait.
What? Okay, fine. Okay, go.
When she's like, we can
I'm
do
next.
this. We have the notes. I
Yeah, same.
thought
It was gonna
No.
Same.
Before you get there. No.
It was
This
gonna
is
be another
before.
multiverse.
So when she goes up, you guys aren't explaining things.
I'm-
Noel's fucking lost. Let me slow it down.
Noel's been
so
lost.
she goes up to him right in his face, right, and she's like, "Let me make this clear, bitch.
Yeah.
I am not your wife." She hated her enough. That's when I was like,
Yeah.
"Yes, I am not your wife."
Did you do this in the theater?
I so did. I was the
Have you
only
met
one
Maria?
snapping.
She does this shit.
God damn.
she does this normally.
Yep.
That would've been very
in this
annoying to
movie-
me.
She's doing it now, man. It's a knee-jerk
and
reaction.
she's-
Church
Trust
woman.
me, I've had to live with it. Yeah.
It is.
This is a movie theater. We want silence.
So
sex.
she's like, I am not your fucking wife.
Yes,
She hated herself so much she killed herself.
Oh, that's right.
And
yeah,
that
yep.
that baby that I didn't want to bring in this world because of your dumb ass, right? Put in my brain, and now I'm a whole woman, and I'm not your fucking Victoria. I'm fucking Bella.
Yeah.
And then she drugs him.
Bella.
She
Under my
Okay, now you can-
umbrella.
Sure. Okay. No, thank
Bella.
you for bringing that up because it's a really
Yeah.
good point because it's everything has been coming to this, and she's her own woman,
Yeah.
and not an extension of any man or anything or what or yeah. She is her person.
I love
She's
that
her own.
they
She's
yeah.
independent.
Going back again to the operating table when she says they have the book, we have the technology. No, she's like, we have the plans. I thought she was going to take
Same.
out his brain
Same.
and put in God's brain.
Yeah.
I didn't think that. And we talked about this earlier.
Me and
Is
her talked
because
about this.
it like slowed down for me because I was just like, yes.
How?
And yes. And so
One more time?
yes. Snapping yes. But no, I was like, fuck, I forgot I was gonna
You guys
talked about it, and then
You guys have the same problem. Same problem.
you guys are the same person.
Yeah.
Literally, you guys are the same person. Sam had a theory that we never saw you two together because you guys were the exact same
We're like we
person.
merged
And
into
it's
Now
one.
we know you're just clones of the same person.
Yes.
We merged into one right now.
Oh my god! Could you imagine?
You haven't even
just
seen
blocked
our
together.
final form. You haven't seen our final form.
It's half of you and half of me.
Mustache.
Like the guy with the big eye and the smile. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Half a mustache.
Sam wants to talk about poor things.
No.
Sorry.
No,
I
I
was
mean,
talking.
we're
I
pretty much
just
at the end
forgot.
here. That's,
No, I was talking. I forgot.
Oh well. That's how
It's
it
too
works.
bad.
on the
That's
podcast.
how it works.
I
He does
thought
that all the time.
They were
No,
gonna
no,
put God's
no, I
brain
got it.
in the
Bella.
general.
Yeah. So.
And they put a goat's brain. They put a goat's
Instead,
brain.
you lost it
again.
Yes. So.
I was like, aw.
So when she
Sorry.
says there is room for improvement, it
Yeah.
pans out to the goat.
I saw that too,
his
but I was
face.
like, all right, a goat's just watching. All right,
You just
sweet. There's barnyard
No.
animals here.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
And then
I
it
thought-
cuts to God.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought that they were gonna put God's brain into that king's body,
Spoiler.
General's body,
So
and,
you-
and move on that way because I was like,
Yep.
they have the technology, obviously, of
That's what I
transfer
thought.
brains.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
But instead, they went with the much more.
But I love that because, and I was telling him this earlier too, that guy was such a dick.
Yeah.
And he was about
Was.
to
Okay.
cut her fucking clitoris off to
Oh,
remove
fucking
her
asshole.
her pleasure.
Clitoris. Hmm?
Clitoris.
Clitoris.
And-
Clitoris.
Why am I talking like
Let her
this now?
Oh, so you acted an accent to your speech.
don't
Oh,
know,
there you
darling.
go.
Kind of
Darling.
like it's rice.
So
Sorry.
Can we
Sorry,
talk
I did
in
that.
British?
No, we're not gonna do that.
Accent.
No, we're not gonna
You
do
should
that.
talk in the
Go.
British accent.
we should talk.
I don't know how to talk in the British accent.
Okay, this ended now. All right. Are we done?
No.
No.
Still so
Wait,
much more.
I was
Damn it,
talking
Sam. There's still-
still.
yeah.
Why you don't get off track?
Okay.
You
Okay,
fucking-
going back.
Just
Please continue.
I fucking
Mrs.
forgot.
Peñalosa, please continue.
Go.
I forgot.
Okay,
What was
oh
I
my
so
God.
then we
talking?
move
The
on.
goat.
It's
We
the
move
end.
on.
We're
Yeah.
at the end.
We're at
Yeah,
the
that's
end.
already the
and
end.
she is now like
She's now the boss.
the queen of her kingdom.
She's now the boss.
Toinette has rejoined. Max is still there though, so it looks like they're gonna live in this world.
Oh, I
Where-
remember what I was gonna say.
It's free play. It's
Go for it. What is
Go.
It's
Hurry.
So,
You just remembered?
yes.
Okay.
Stop distracting
forget
her.
again.
Go.
Hey, don't hit me.
I haven't hit you
Go.
yet. You know what it's like when I
You're
hit
so
you.
abusive.
Just keep talking over them.
Maria,
talking
go.
Just like the sergeant from the board things. Next thing you know,
I
he's gonna
can't
try to cut
interrupt.
my
I'm too
clitoris
fucking
off.
nice. I'm too fucking. Shut the fuck up.
Okay,
Go,
there you go.
go, go.
So nice.
So, if she, if she would have put, stop.
Oh God, this is. You just add this to the
She
group.
would've
You
what?
We've reached pinnacle.
broke my wife,
Reached
man.
the
I hope
peak.
you're happy.
Stop. If she would have put God's brain in
job,
her
yeah.
ex, the
In the goat?
general,
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
that would have been like fucking God and this fucking Satan, like this fucking
Oh.
horrible fucking human piece of
Okay.
shit, right?
Uh,
And it's like, no, you don't fuck with God.
Mm. Okay.
You don't fuck with God,
Yeah.
right? So the guy and anyway, so you just leave him alone and you put a sheep brain in your ex. I think that's
There's
a
a
great
goat brain.
message.
Sure, that's a logical
Natural
thing to
resolution. Yes.
do. Anyone in
No,
that
I like the
Does
God
it-
aspect of it because then it allows them to pass away too, and give that
Closure.
closure. Exactly. Thank you. And now we're in this world where Bella's her own, like I mentioned earlier, her own person, and now everything is revolving around her.
And
As we saw.
she's a surgeon, right? She's
Yeah.
studying
Oh,
She
that's
is.
right.
for
she's
tests.
studying. She's
Yeah.
studying.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I will say the one thing that I like that wasn't
And the
really talked
last,
about.
the last pan out is her husband banging at the camera, and then it zooms out, and the movie ends.
I will say the last thing that
You're a
I
jerk.
wanted to talk about that we didn't really discuss was God's backstory, which is the few times he would
Oh
mention
yes.
how his dad would just use him
Oh, yeah.
as
For
experiments for the sake of science and the betterment of society. And he, instead of having this anger towards his father or this remorse for his father, he would see it as like a pride, like a badge of honor. Like, yeah, the reason why I have this fucking machine is because my dad had to test on me. And he learned something very important, which is, yeah, I actually do need that thing to live.
Yeah.
But I mean, for humans, right? Yeah.
When that cancer scene happened, when he's like,
And he's cutting him, and they look-
yeah,
I was
my
gonna
theater lost their shit.
There
They
was
were
a
like,
few
"Oh,
scenes,
God,"
yeah.
everyone was
There was
screaming.
Yes,
I was like, whoa.
Same thing with mine,
Yeah.
and I held back my screaming out loud. I kept
I mean,
it internally because
After all my horror movies, that was
some-
fine.
right?
but-
I figured you would be fine with. I figured you would be fine with that. But for me, something like I think it would be more like relaxing to see someone get a shotgun to the face as I would a surgical
More
knife
relaxing, eh?
cutting. Yeah, like less
Wow. Human
shocking.
instinct.
Less shocking to see
Yeah.
that as opposed to a surgical knife slowly slicing someone open and the blood starting to ooze out. That
wonderful.
just kind of scares me more, I guess. I don't know
Fucking
why.
shotgun would blow someone's
Right,
brain.
and I feel fine with that. I feel fine with that.
There was brains being sliced in this too, by the way.
There was. They didn't even reference it. They just he was
just
slicing
cutting brains. Yeah.
Yes,
Just slicing some brains.
It's part of his
Tuesday.
job.
Tuesday's the
job.
day we slice brains
Yeah,
here.
but going back to the
Let's-
overall film, how'd you guys?
Yeah, let's end it here. Let's get some
Give it a score.
final thoughts and grade. Sure, let's go this way and we'll end with Mia.
Okay, I like that. So I
Since we already know it's
like I mentioned earlier, this movie was something I
Arturo
ended up
approved.
being something that I did not expect. It is Arturo acclaimed.
Oh.
Acclaimed.
Two thumbs up.
Acclaimed.
Yeah, this
I'm
movie
glad you
took
guys
me by
are.
surprise. It did feel a little long.
What?
Yeah, that's what she said.
It did feel a little long to me. As
That's what she said.
I said
yeah,
that.
she did.
That's what I said.
Good tip for your voice.
Thank you. But yeah, I mean, overall, the acting was fucking phenomenal. Emma Stone, I've always loved her as an actress, but she is a powerhouse in this film. And Mark Ruffalo was at the top of his game. I think this worked really well for him. Willem Dafoe, come on. But the overall story and just the journey, and that you could have like gone without the fantasy elements, gone without the stylishness of the quirkiness and the cinematography, and just still had been that story. It still would have been incredibly moving and incredibly powerful, and I think that's really the heart of it. But yeah, it's one of the best movies I've seen this year.
Yeah,
What's the grade though?
Acclaimed.
Arturo
I don't
acclaimed.
give
2
grades.
thumbs
Oh,
up.
got it.
He's
Two
just
thumbs
Arturo
up.
acclaimed,
Yeah.
Arturo approved, Arturo meh.
Don't you
And
grade
then
them though on your
Arturo-
list? Do you have like 99, 98? No?
Me, no.
He has emojis, and now it's like
I
2
used to do
thumbs,
emojis.
1 thumb.
Yeah, it's 2
half
thumbs,
thumb.
1 thumb, half thumb, thumb
Yeah.
down. Yeah. But it translates to our acclaimed on Instagram.
Yeah. I'm dying. Anyways, I agree. This is a really great movie. This director, I think he's just he's another great director. He hasn't really missed, in my opinion. And this is probably his best film yet. I agree with everything. The cinematography here is fantastic. The production design, I mean, a lot of what you see is actually there.
Yeah.
The settings. I mean,
read
there's
about
good
that
visual
earlier.
effects here as well. There's some CGI in there that you don't even know is CGI. I mean, obviously
Obviously,
the duck
goose
dog
duck,
right
yeah,
there.
Duck dog.
Or goose duck, whatever. But yeah, as Arturo said, the acting is phenomenal. The dialogue, screenplay, magnificent screenplay, everything about this movie. It's gonna get like probably like 10 or 12 nominations, Oscar nominations. Yeah, man, it's one of the best of the year. I am going to give it an A+.
All right. Woo.
Damn.
Where does it rank in your all movies?
Oh gosh.
I can't give you that
movies?
right now.
Hour?
There's no way that's
This
gonna
is
happen.
a guy who
No
keeps
follow-up questions.
100
We're already
lists.
close
I
on
mean,
time. Yeah.
top
But it's-
100 for
We're
every
short
decade.
on time. There's
Is
no
it
follow-up.
within the 100?
No, he has a top 100 for every decade.
No, pues sí.
I can't give
So
you a top
he probably
100
has
for
a-
everything.
A
Yeah.
top
Not gonna
thousands
answer.
for his life.
I've been working on that since I
Yeah.
began life.
Okay, maybe another question. How often do you rate
Oh my-
movies A+?
Not very often. These guys know.
Yeah.
So far this year, it's been twice.
This-
Clearly, you
this
don't
really
watch
had-
our episodes.
This really had the full package for me.
Clearly, you don't watch our,
I fast
our
forward.
podcast.
Let's see. Barbie was an A.
That was an A+.
gosh.
An A+.
We're
Barbie was an A+.
We're at an hour 15.
Oppenheimer
We're
was
going
an
to start
A.
going fast.
Enough.
Uble.
Enough.
Uble. Go.
I
Godzilla was
also
an A+.
fucking absolutely. I give this movie an A+, man. A full 95. It's gotta be for me. For me, everything was checked off. Visually, my ears were pleased, not just with the score, but with the dialogue.
Oh yeah.
I feel like they didn't waste
I'm gonna
any
make an
second.
orgasm
The
joke.
of
dialogue?
I was
The
gonna say- I thought they were going
dialogue?
to say an orgasm joke. I thought this was happening.
I had an
Visually,
orgasm watching this.
there were a lot
Visually.
of aspects that stood out,
Maria.
but I feel like
Visually.
no
Especially during the
second.
prostitution scenes.
I feel like no second was wasted in this movie. I feel like everything, they definitely put a lot of time into making sure that it was the right angle and the right tint and the right lighting and the right positions. So that encouraged
Go-
me to give it an A+.
Go watch this, guys. If you really like this movie, go watch his other movies. I think you're gonna love his other movies as well.
Yeah, I'm sure. Lobster is one that's
The Lobster, the
Is it-
Favor is the other one with Emma
Lobster,
Stone. if
is
you
it with lobster hands? Like American Horror Story?
No,
No,
that
you're
No.
thinking of
No.
husks.
that one's actually a really interesting premise as well. It's but I don't want to get into it because
Let's hear your score.
Mia.
Ultimate. Yes.
it's the
I rated it number 2 movie
of all time.
Mhm.
of all
Of all
time.
time.
Yeah,
What is it,
I
like a B?
snapped my fingers like 80% of the time. I can't believe it has an 8.5. Fun fact.
That's a really good for IMDb.
Yeah.
That's like basically an A, man.
Fun fact, walking out of the movie theater, I was talking with my friend. I went with one of my girlfriends, and we were saying how, there was like so much porn, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to tell Junior that he is not going to watch it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but you know what? That's fine. I'm confident enough. But then I was like, you know what? Her nipples did seem a little weird. And then she says, some actress, they're weird formed. No. Anyways, some actresses, hold on.
Where are you going with this?
There's a story.
Oh, it's going to be a great story.
Yes.
I'm enjoying
So
the nipple
actresses, they put prosthetics like on their nipples, right? And so my friend said, oh, maybe it's not even like her actual nipple or her body, right? Because they can put prosthetics. I didn't know that. Fun fact. I didn't know that. So then I got home and then I immediately Googled, is Emma Stone's nipples her real nipple? In the movie, you're gonna Google it.
No, I was Googling it now.
It was on your Wi-Fi.
And it is. That is her real body. Yeah. And her family doesn't want to watch this movie where she's gonna get like tons of Grammys, right?
Grammys.
She's a hell of a performer.
She was singing
during some of those scenes.
She was fucking singing. Still showing her nipples on the red carpet. Yes, you can zoom in. I'm confident.
What's going on, dude? What this just turned into like? Yeah, nope. That's for sure gonna be blasted on the back of ours.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna start.
Fantastic.
Cut from where she starts talking.
So it's her real.
Go for it.
So it's her real fucking body in the movie, and her family.
Right.
Her family doesn't want to watch it because of that. But now
I'll watch it for them.
I know.
I mean, it was done very
I will
tastefully.
also watch it for them.
It was done very tastefully. It wasn't.
It was fucking porn, dude. Without the penis going into the vagina.
I don't think Emma Stone meant like intended or
it was
thought
artistic.
that this was gonna be
no, it was artistic.
Like
that's
I'm
what I mean.
No, there was some raw stuff in there, man. I mean,
dude, they did every
position.
Mark
Position.
Ruffalo got some nipple action.
The only thing they didn't do is the reverse helicopter. That's what I was remembering.
Well, me and my wife will tell you that takes a lot of hard work.
fucking strength, arm strength, leg strength,
And with that,
upper body strength.
we want to say, please like and subscribe.
What?
Thank you for watching.
We're not done.
We're not. We're an hour and 20 minutes into it. We have to be done.
That's like half
Have a
the length
dark
of the movie.
night.
We have to
I
be
want
done.
to talk
Have a
about.
dark night.
Wait, I didn't give a grade.
You said it was the best, the second best movie of all time.
You
That's
talking
great.
about nipples.
What's your grade?
You give it 2 nipples up.
No.
What's your grade?
See, that's
Three
A++.
nipples.
All right, there we go. A++.
A++.
Woo!
2 nipples up, A++, all the nipples you can think of, and
Have
please.
a dark night.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Have a dark night.
Have a dark night. Have
Dark
a sexy night, you poor
Poor
things.
things.